Today on Public Eye News, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is set to pay $13 million following a recent lawsuit. And later, many schools remain closed in the wake of Hurricane Helene. More information on that and more later in the show.
Our own Andy Jordan has a look into the weather forecast around the UP, and later, Bradley Seaborg has a sports report from around the world. I'm Reed Hall.
And I'm Beck Brearley, and this is Public Eye News. A Detroit judge has approved a $13 million settlement to the victims of an unannounced active shooter drill in December of 2022 at a children's psychiatric hospital. 50 children will receive around $60,000, and staff will be compensated roughly $50,000 on average. Police were unaware of the drill as dozens of officers responded to the 911 calls at the Hawthorne Center, equipped with body armor and high-powered weapons. The two people told to pose as shooters were captured and they were unarmed. The drill was organized by the Hawthorne Center's safety director, who still works for the state of Michigan, as the hospital was closed for unrelated reasons to the drill. And dozens of people gathered outside of the Michigan headquarters of the Kellogg Company to protest artificial dyes in BHG and breakfast cereal. Kellogg, who produces Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks, announced a decade ago all dyes and additives would be phased out and removed by 2018. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration stated they believe the color additives have no effect on most children who consume them. WK Kellogg stated that 85% of its cereal sales do not contain colors from artificial sources, though the company stated it found consumer preferences differed greatly. Kellogg may still have to completely eliminate food dyes, as California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill banning 4 of Kellogg dyes currently used in food served.
And unions in Michigan have taken center stage as the heat turns up in this year's presidential race. As both parties compete for blue wall states deep with union roots like Michigan, Harris stands beside UAW President Shawn Fain, while Trump urges middle-class workers to trust him as the true champion of their interests. Harris, who is set to meet with union workers Friday, hopes her message resonates beyond union families. This comes as her campaign has expressed growing concern about her standing with men in blue wall states. This concern has been amplified in recent weeks when Harris failed to secure key union endorsements from the International Association of Firefighters and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, who backed Biden in 2020. Trump has taken advantage of this, claiming rank-and-file workers support his vision for the country. With Michigan home to the largest concentration of UAW workers, this election could be a generation-defining moment. And the Fresh Coast Film Festival is once again almost upon us. The festival, which is scheduled October 17th through the 20th, will offer morning tours of various Marquette area locations run by students majoring in outdoor recreation and leadership. Students in Professor Jackie Medina's recreational interpretation course will lead tours along the Dead and Carp Rivers and up Mount Marquette and Sugarloaf, as well as bog walks at Presque Isle and Wetmore. This unique opportunity for NMU undergrads is thanks to a long-standing partnership between Medina and Bill Thompson, the owner of Downwind Sports. Students have been preparing for this weekend since the start of the semester, and you can expect both an engaging and informative professional level experience. If you'd like to learn more about the film festival and its outdoor tours, visit freshcoastfilm.com/tours. And some Minneapolis city leaders are looking to move forward with plans to transform the police precinct that burned down earlier in 2020. However, some are pushing back on the current plans for the building. WCCO reporter Caroline Cummings has more. Take a look.
The Minneapolis 3rd Police Precinct that burned in 2020 sits vacant with its scars from that time. Now, years later, the city wants to turn the page.
It's time for our city to move forward. It's time for a vision at the old 3rd Precinct building to take shape.
Mayor Jacob Fry and city staff are proposing renovating it and moving election services there, plus earmarking 8,000 square feet of community space there too. The council asked for more community engagement, and Tuesday, staff presented their findings from this summer. 2 surveys found support outweighed opposition more than 3-1.
What we are proposing is also both the financially smart as well as the good governance measure.
The meeting Tuesday comes just one day after Republican vice presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance held a news conference outside the precinct, accusing his opponent, Governor Walz, of failed leadership at the time.
Let's not hand J.D. Vance a prop to use in a political way.
Chair Chavez.
Aye.
But some on the council want it to be fully a community space, taking issue with some renovations needed to house election services there.
The community I represent in particular is tired of fighting for crumbs when they should be
earning and getting the entire loaf of bread. That is what I told my residents I would fight for.
The committee meeting got heated at times as council members sparred over parts of the plan. The city says it's moving forward, but it will eventually need buy-in from the city council in order to fund it, and it wouldn't open until 2029.
It feels as though some of my colleagues are desperate for any objection to 3,000 Minnehaha, and this has been going on for too long.
In Minneapolis, Carolyn Cummings, WCCO News.
And we'll be back with your weather and national news after this break. Stay tuned.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
This is crazy. It's a crocodile. Whoa.
Sky.
Insane situation at the moment. It's absolute chaos.
There's something going on. There's another leopard. He's got the cub.
Welcome back. I'm Andy Jordan, and I'll be taking you through our public eye weather report. Taking a look at our roof cam, you can see the clouds have dissipated a bit. We have some blue skies peeking through. Looking across the UP, partly cloudy conditions all around. In Houghton, it is 54 degrees, and Ironwood 54 as well. In Iron Mountain and Menominee, 55 degrees. Taking a look at the east side of the map here, in Escanaba and Manistee, it is 55 degrees. In Sault Ste. Marie, 51 degrees. And back here in Marquette, it is 55 degrees. Taking a look at our current conditions, winds coming from the south-southwest at 5 miles per hour with our barometric pressure at 32.22 inches and falling. And looking to tonight, clear skies with a low of 46 degrees, winds coming out of the southwest at 12 miles per hour with our moon phase at a waxing gibbous. And for you lunar enthusiasts, keep your eyes peeled for a supermoon happening tomorrow morning with the moon reaching its peak size at about 7:26 a.m. And speaking of tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 60 degrees, a low of 43, winds coming out the south-southwest at 16 miles per hour. And looking to the weekend, 65 degrees with a low of 48 on Friday with sunny conditions, 65 with a low of 50 on Saturday with cloudy conditions, and on Sunday, 71 degrees with a low of 55 and sunny. That is all I have for your weather. Back to the news desk.
Thank you for that weather update, Andy. And now moving into national news. Many schools across the Southeast remain closed following the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, raising concerns among educators about the long-term impacts on students' education and emotional well-being. The Buncombe County School System, serving over 22,000 students, announced on its Facebook page that no decisions have been made regarding the start date or length of the school day due to necessary repairs to buildings, phone and security systems, and bus routes. The hurricane severely affected Buncombe County, sweeping away homes, cutting power, and damaging Asheville's water system, a city of about 94,000 people. The storm devastated remote towns and resulted in at least 246 fatalities across the Appalachians, complicating cleanup efforts with washed out bridges and roads. It marks the deadliest hurricane to strike the U.S. mainland since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And former Las Vegas area politician Robert Telles is being sentenced today for murdering investigative journalist Jeff German, whose reporting criticized Telles' conduct and revealed his relationship with a female coworker. Telles was found guilty after the jury deliberated nearly 12 hours over 3 days. Despite strong evidence against him, including his DNA found under German's fingernails, Telles maintains his innocence, claiming he was framed by a conspiracy involving various parties. During the trial, he admitted that reports of the office romance were true, but denied killing German. Prosecutor Christopher Hamner highlighted that Telles blamed German for destroying his career and threatening his marriage. The sentencing hearing featured emotional testimony from German's brother and 2 sisters, as well as pleas for leniency from Telles' wife, ex-wife, and mother. And in a recent letter from President Biden addressed to Israeli leadership, the White House is calling for an increase in humanitarian aid to Gaza. President Biden is threatening to decrease shipments of U.S. weapons should they not comply. CBS reporter Jared Hill has more information.
From Washington to Israel, an ultimatum over aid. The U.S. in a letter saying Israel slowed or stopped nearly all humanitarian assistance across Gaza last month, after more than a year of fighting.
What we have seen over the past few months is that the level of humanitarian assistance has not been sustained. In fact, it has fallen by over 50% from where it was at its peak.
The Secretaries of State and Defense warning Israel if that doesn't change in 30 days, they risk a pause in vital military assistance. Experts say this likely wouldn't impact defensive equipment.
What they might do, and has been discussed in the past, is withhold for some period of time large diameter bombs that the Israelis have used to strike targets in Gaza.
This comes after an Israeli airstrike hit Al-Aqsa Hospital, which set a tent camp full of displaced Gazans on fire, killing at least 4. To the north, Israel's battles with Hezbollah continue. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to retaliate against a strike that killed 4 soldiers. I want to make it clear, he said, we will hit Hezbollah mercilessly in all parts of Lebanon. Thousands of miles from the front lines, the first of 3 European Union aid flights left Italy for Lebanon. Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister is promising a precise, painful, and surprising response to Iranian attacks as concerns over broader conflict grow. Jared Hill, CBS News.
We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Bradley Seaborg, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Newly crowned world champion Tadej Pogačar launched another solo attack to win his 4th straight Tour of Lombardy. The win capped off a near-perfect season for the Slovenian, winning both the Tour de France and the Giro d'Italia, along with the World Championships. No one could follow Pogačar when he fired an attack from 48 kilometers from the finish line, a move nearly identical to his race-winning attack in the World Championships. Pogačar has made a habit of attacking from long distance, also winning Liège-Bastogne-Liège and the Strade Bianche in similar fashion. Olympic champion Remco Evenepoel would come home in second, a distant 3 minutes behind Pogačar. Italian Giulio Ciccone would round out the podium in third. And Thomas Tuchel has been named the head coach of the England national team, putting the end to a months-long search for their manager. The German will become England's 3rd foreign-born coach, following in the footsteps of Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello. Tuchel replaces Gareth Southgate, who stepped down after 8 years in charge of the Three Lions. Southgate was one of England's most successful coaches, bringing them back to back-to-back European Championship finals and a semi-final appearance in the World Cup. Tuchel has already had success in England. As manager of Chelsea, he won the Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, and Club World Cup. England fans are hoping his title-winning habits can put an end to their decades-long trophy drought. And it's a big weekend for NMU athletics, with 5 home games across multiple sports this weekend. On Friday, the men's soccer team take on Saginaw Valley at 2 p.m., and later the hockey team has their first home game of the season against Alaska Anchorage at 7. On Saturday, football takes on GLIAC newcomer Roosevelt at 1 p.m., and at 6 p.m., hockey completes their series against Alaska Anchorage. And finally, on Sunday, men's soccer faces off against Davenport on Senior Day at 2 p.m. Volleyball is on the road at the Midwest Crossover with 3 games over the course of the weekend, and cross country will compete in the Bay College Invite on Friday. That's all I have for sports. Back to the news desk.
Thank you, Brad, for that sports update. You heading out to hockey this weekend?
I'm pretty excited, yeah. I was going to say the Barrie Event Center is probably going to be electric. It's definitely something you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, I definitely checked out tickets for this weekend, and I'm pretty sure that student section is already filled up.
Yeah, it's going to be bustling, but what a good hockey match isn't bustling like that.
Yeah, NMU is going to seek their first win of the season after coming back from Colorado College, where they lost both games, but they're ranked. So.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we have. I'm Beck Burley.
I'm Reed Hall.
And this is Public Eye News. We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.